Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today I want to talk 10 business lessons from an unlikely source, a TV show, The Pitt, to be precise. I looked for a quote for today's episode and I couldn't find one that seemed to suit or say what I wanted it to say, so instead I'm going to quote myself. Today's quote is, "When you realize that you are perfectly capable of being a business person because you do it every day in other places of your life, you will find that you is enough for your clients." By Tracy Daviero. This is a quote from an earlier podcast episode of mine that I thought really suited this episode. I might just quote myself from now on, honestly. But seriously, the point is that your business is all around you. Everything that you do, lessons are all around you. So look for the things that you can learn from and step into the amazing, ridiculously good VA that I know you can be. Let's go. In today's episode, we're jumping into an unexpected source of business wisdom, The Pitt, the new TV show, the medical drama on Max or Crave here in Canada. It's one of our indulgences here in our household, and I always tell you, look for business lessons in your everyday life. So that's where this particular episode topic is coming from. That's kind of all we've been doing. As you can hear, I'm still got the cough and the bronchitis and whatever, so we've been watching a lot of TV, but we did recently binge The Pitt. So are you watching it? It's the new medical show starring Noah Wyle, who was Dr. John Carter on ER. It's super fast-paced and very exciting to watch. Well, maybe exciting is the wrong word to describe it, but it certainly is interesting, shocking, sentimental, and a whole lot more, all wrapped up in one. Just a really good show. And if you aren't watching it, you have probably watched medical dramas before. So you can liken these lessons to the show that you did watch. But honestly, if you aren't watching The Pitt, you should check it out. This is not sponsored by The Pitt, but I feel like it should be. I highly, highly recommend it. So I know you might be thinking, what on earth does a fast-paced emergency department have to do with running a virtual assistant business? Well, surprisingly, there are a lot of similarities. So just like in the ER, as VAs, we need to be adaptable, focused, and always learning. So I understand that's not life and death, what we do, but there are still some very important lessons that we can draw on from the two industries. And honestly, if you're going to be watching TV, pick little lessons out and go, oh, I could apply that to my business, right? So I'm going to break down 10 of these from The Pitt that you can apply to your VA business right now. Lesson 1 is effective time management. In the Pitt ER, every second counts. The medical team has to prioritize their tasks quickly and efficiently. And as a VA, managing your time well is really just as important. You need to know what's urgent, what can wait, and how to structure your day for maximum productivity. One of the things I tell VAs all the time, much to their surprise, is that not everything a client asks you to do is urgent. It's not. We seem to feel that when a client asks us to do something, we have to jump on it right away. But that isn't always a good use of your time, and it could lead to problems down the road because when you get busier, your clients will start to notice a shift in how quickly you turn their work around. Just like a triage in the ER, the most important stuff should be prioritized first, and the rest gets done when there is time. Lesson 2, clear communication. Ever notice how the doctors and the nurses in the Pitt communicate with precision? They don't waste words, and they make sure that their team understands what needs to be done. The same applies to your VA business. Time is money, guys. Whether you're updating a client on a project or setting boundaries around your working hours, clarity is always going to be the most important thing. And of course, we don't need to shout codes and orders at our clients, nor should they yell back at us, but we do need a system of communication that helps everyone understand what is being done and when. If a client sends you a work request, acknowledge it and tell them when you're going to get it back to them. As the project progresses, keep the client up to date with the status and any issues that might have come up since the last update. Lesson 3 is adaptability. In the ER, things change fast, and the ability to pivot is essential. As a VA, you might find that client priorities shift, tools update, or a project needs a completely new approach. Being adaptable means that you can handle these things without stress. When we work with many different clients, we have to be adaptable too. You're going to be managing your time and schedule, but you also have to manage the expectations of your clients, each of whom think they are the most important client that you have. Being able to move your schedule around or loop in new people or get a last-minute task done might be the types of things that you need to adapt to on a regular basis. And being able to plan how you're going to do that helps keep your stress at a manageable level. Lesson 4 is team collaboration. Even though doctors and nurses have their own roles, they do work as a team to save lives. In your VA business, collaboration can be just as valuable. Whether you're working with a client's whole team, whether you're subcontracting work or networking with other VAs, teamwork helps you get better results. If you're working one-on-one with a client, collaboration can be pretty simple. Emails back and forth or a simple project management system. We still have to recognize that it's a system though. And when we work with multiple clients, we might have to work with multiple systems. Collaboration is about keeping things organized and keeping everybody up to date on the status of their stuff, right? It's your job to make sure that everything is running smoothly. If a client has to ask you what's happening with something, or if you're constantly waiting on them to give you the pieces to a project, that is a sure sign that things need to be fine-tuned. Lesson 5 is stress management. High-pressure situations are the norm in the pit. While our VA work isn't life or death, we do deal with deadlines, demanding clients, and unexpected challenges. Having strategies in place to handle stress, like taking breaks, setting boundaries, or using mindfulness techniques, can help you from burning out. What is your favorite technique to manage stress? I love to listen to a podcast, or read a book, or go for a walk, or go out to the garden. Anywhere that I'm not staring at a screen and trying to figure out who needs what from me. Again, while high pressure is not always the thing in a VA business, it can feel like it is. Deadlines are real, and clients are paying real money, so we need to keep on top of things, and we need to look after ourselves while we do it. Number 6 is continuous learning. Medical professionals are always learning new procedures, new treatments, technology, and that kind of thing. As a VA, staying updated on industry trends, new tools, and best practices is the key to staying competitive. If you're not learning, you could be falling behind. This one's never a tough sell for VAs. The majority of the VAs I know love to learn, almost to a fault. But are you learning the right things? And are you learning things that will complement the services that you're offering your clients right now? If you are you implementing what you learn right away? These are all really important things when we talk about learning. If you do a good job of your professional development, you will always be at least a step ahead, maybe ahead of the entire curve of the VAs in your community. I have another content workshop coming up soon. Will I see you at that? Might be the time for you. Number 7 is empathy and client relations. Doctors in the pit don't just treat symptoms, they connect with their patients. As a VA, building strong relationships with your clients can make all the difference. Understanding the struggles and offering solutions with empathy makes you more than just a service provider. You become their trusted partner. I worked with a client once who was single. She was amazing. Doesn't really matter that she was single, but she was so bright and she was a tough businesswoman, but she worked a lot of hours, late nights, early mornings, weekends, whatever, because she didn't have anyone at home at the end of the day. And that made it difficult for her sometimes to shut things off and also to empathize with her clients who had families. She didn't understand why they didn't get shit done like she did. I worked with her for a long time, and over that time we got to know each other. I didn't advise her on her business strategy. She had coaches for that. But I sure knew how she was and how she would react in certain situations, and I was more than able to advise her in those. We talked about events she hosted, clients she worked with, and I think it really helped out our relationship. Empathy is an excellent thing to bring to your VA business and to your clients. Number 8 is attention to detail. In the ER, a small mistake can have major consequences, clearly. In the VA world, missing details in emails or schedules or reports can lead to misunderstandings, lost opportunities, and sometimes even lost revenue. Being meticulous in your work builds trust and credibility. No one obviously likes to make mistakes. No one likes to have mistakes made when they're paying someone for something. I've been on both sides of this, so we try to pay attention to the details that we minimize human error or tech issues as much as possible. Those of you in my community will know that I recently sent out the wrong link in an email to my list. My email provider just changed up their email builder, and I did not notice that I had attached the incorrect email to the actual campaign. I went through my regular motions, made the changes, and I didn't take the time to check the new system out enough to ensure that I had connected it properly. Attention to detail would have saved that. Just following an old routine with something that has had some changes made to it worked against me that day. And you can bet that I'm triple checking everything from now on. Lesson number 9 is maintaining professional boundaries. The doctors in the pit have to maintain professional boundaries with patients even when emotions run high. As a VA, setting clear expectations with clients ensures a healthy working relationship. And this might mean defining your work hours, sticking to your scope of services, or saying no to demands that you think are unreasonable. Boundaries are so important, and no one knows that better than someone who has had somebody cross them, right? The funny thing is that I mostly find that VAs are the ones crossing their own borders or boundaries more than clients are. A client might make the initial cross, but then the VA meets them there and lets them cross it, maybe more than once, and then gets mad that they're not doing things the way they're supposed to. So it's up to us to hold the boundaries that we set. I've always told clients that they need to communicate with me by scheduled production call once a week and otherwise by email or project management system, if we're using one. And yet, I would answer their phone calls and their texts, and I would respond to their DMs whenever they sent them, not realizing that I was allowing them to cross the boundaries that I had set. So that's not their fault. That's my fault, and it's our fault. When I keep them, the boundaries, the client relationships are so much better, and you have to do the same thing. Everyone needs to just play by the same rules. Clarity makes it so much easier for everybody to follow. And the final lesson is resilience. The medical team in the pit faces setbacks, but they push through. And as the VA, challenges are inevitable. Clients might ghost you, projects might not go the way you planned, or you might have some slow months. The key is to keep going, to learn from those setbacks, and stay committed to the goals that you set for yourself. Being resilient doesn't mean you have to be unhappy or even struggle. Being resilient means preparing yourself to handle whatever comes your way. Working with a lot of different clients means a whole lot of opinions, a whole lot of schedules, and a whole lot of personalities. And you get to be the center of all of them. Yay, you! Being firm in your boundaries, confident in your abilities, and clear in your communication is the best way to build that resilience. If a project goes off the rails, get it back on the rails and write out how you're going to keep that from happening again. If you have a slow month, what can you do to make it busier? I always say if you're not doing client work, you have so much more time to market or network, right? You get the picture. So there you have it. 10 powerful lessons from the pit, or another medical drama that you love, that can make you a stronger, more successful VA. Time management, communication, adaptability, collaboration, stress management, continuous learning, empathy, attention to detail, boundaries, and resilience. Each of these can help you build a ridiculously good VA business. Which of these lessons resonates with you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message or connect with me on social media. And if you're looking for more support in building a confident and profitable VA business, check out my programs and services on my website. The link is in the show notes, but you can go to yourvamentor.com/links, LINKS, and you'll see everything I do. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Be sure to share it with a VA colleague if you think that they'll find it valuable. That's all I've got for you for this week. Hopefully, the voice will be back in the next couple of weeks. But really, in the meantime, go check out The Pit. It is so good. And season 1 is nearly over. I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.